Hello everyone, Kelvin here. So welcome to another class. So last class we talked about designing websites, working on landing pages. We basically designed like a fashion website, right? But that was like a very basic, website. Okay. So what we'll be doing today is basically going in depth how websites behave, how some websites you see things like let's say you scroll up, the navigation bar doesn't scroll, it's sticky at the top, it doesn't scroll. There are some things that are static, things like let me just quickly pull up the site we'll be using today. The site is called Tix Africa. It's an event management website. Okay, so if you notice, when you scroll up, right, you notice that the navigation bar does not scroll with the top part, right? You also notice that this chatbot here does not scroll up, is static, right? So I'm going to be explaining that, and I'm also going to be explaining all these stuffs that are inside here, right? How you can basically achieve them, this growth, this differences, all of this, right? We'll also talk about this hovering effect, right? We'll talk about a lot of things. As time goes on, we'll talk about this is called a marquee scroll effect, right? It would keep moving on its own. I'm going to talk about how to achieve it. You notice when you hover on these logos, they display their actual colors, right? We're going to talk about all of this, right? So we are basically going to replicate everything on this website, dissect one after the other how to achieve all of these functions, right? You notice when you hover on the home page as well, you see when you hover on it, the color changes from just black and white to about, right? We're going to talk about all of these things. We're going to talk about so many stuffs, right? So we can also make use of create this, right? So we're basically going to do a whole lot, right? We're going to do a whole lot. Okay, so just sit tight and enjoy the ride. So for this first video, we're just going to basically talk about how to create this sticky navigation bar. When you scroll, the content will go behind the um, sticky navigation bar. Also, this chatbot here is going to be sticky, that it doesn't move, so that at any point in time a user or a visitor of the website needs help, you can just quickly click on it and they can chat with a customer service agent or a customer support agent, right? So we're going to do that. So for this first tutorial, we're going to basically achieve this notification and this navigation bar, then achieve this what is it called now, the hero section, right? And basically stop somewhere here, right? In the next video we'll move to hover, achieving this hover effect, and we just keep going. So I want to break it so that the video is not too long. All right, so now let's just head right back in to Figma. Go back to Figma and we start working on this. Okay, so sit tight and enjoy. Okay, so now first things first we do is go to our frames tool, right? On the frames tool you see your desktop here, right? So you can see it like this. You click on this desktop, that's on the right hand side of your screen. You see your desktop, and inside that desktop you also see desktop, right? So we're going to be using desktop as our as our frame. So when you click on it, you have this, then you can zoom in. All right, sorry, let me just delete this. Let's delete this. So we can click on our frame, right? We have this. Sorry, I think I need to do away with this comment. Is don't like the fact that I keep seeing it here. Okay, let's just keep designing. All right, so now the next thing we do is, after we've created this this page, the next thing we do is basically click on our layout grid, right? We want to create our layout so that we can make use of our white space. We know where to the boundaries that we can set, where we can put designs and all of that, right? So we'll click on layout grid, right? Immediately you have this graph page. Then you come to this icon here, the settings. You change the grid to columns. Okay, so you change it to columns. Then the next thing you do, you increase this to, let's say, 10. Let's say we make it 10, right? Then you change this from stretch to center. All right, then we'll increase this to 100. Perfect, right? So the count, this count that I changed to 10 is this bars. The number of these bars is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10, right? Is 10, right? Then I made it to be center. All right, then I changed the width, how thick each bars are going to be, made it 100. So I said this gutter is basically the space in between, the white spaces in between each columns, right? So that's what the gutter is. So we have this, right? We just zoom in, we drag, oh sorry, we drag from our ruler and we align it properly. Okay, so we have this, right? Then the next thing we do is we come to this place as well. We have this. All right, so now we have our rulers. So you just click on the label here and you go to your layout grid and turn it off. Don't click the minus, just click the eye, right? The eye icon there, and you turn it off. Okay, awesome. So then the next thing we do is we draw our ruler down to just have like a boundary where the navigation bar is going to be. Okay, so then now we draw, first of all, take our rectangle tool. Okay, so we want to draw the background for the navigation bar. You notice, let me just quickly go back. Notice when you scroll, there's a white background that goes along with it. So that's what we're trying to achieve. All right, awesome. So we'll have this, right? So we have this to be at the middle. Okay, so then we'll change this to white. All right, change this to white, right? Then the next thing we do is we start adding the elements. So Tix Africa, let me just copy this. Okay, let me just type it rather. Tix.africa, text tool, we use our text tool. Shortcut for it is T, letter T, right? Tix.africa. All right, make the text smaller, so we would use 35. Okay, we're using 35 because it's a logo, right? It's more like the logo. So then we change the color to orange, right? So you use your slider here and you choose the orange color, right? So we have this. Now the next thing we'll go over here, copy all of this. So products, discovery, pricing, right? So use your text tool again. Now this time you reduce the font size to somewhere around, let's say 20, right? So the first one is products. Okay, the first one is products. Okay, the next one you duplicate, you hold your alt and you drag, right? So you hold your alt and you drag and you have a duplicate of this. So then the next one is discover. Okay, next one is discover, right? Hold your alt and you drag again. The next one is pricing, right? The next one is about. Hold your alt, you click and you drag again. About. The next one is blog. Hold your alt, you click and you drag again. The next one is FAQ, right? So now we have all of these the menu. All right, so we select all of them, hold your shift and start clicking each and every one of them, right? So we selected all of them. Now we want to make the spacing. Remember I said when we are designing, make sure your space, like when you are arranging these things, they are concise, they are like exactly the same, right? So the space in between, if I zoom it now, you notice the space in between, they are not equal. Okay, they are not equal. So once you select all of them, first things first, let's check that they are vertically aligned, right? Then you come to this more options here and you click tidy up. Okay, so immediately I clicked tidy up, you notice that the spaces in between became equal. Let me Ctrl Z, let me do it all over again. So select all these layers, right? Then you come to this place here, then you click on tidy up. Okay, so then you notice everything is tidy. Then now let's group this because this is a menu. Okay, then we'll align it to the middle. Okay, so then the next thing we do is login and sign up. All right, so create for login. All right, sorry, login. Then the next one is going to be sign up. Hold your alt and you drag. We name this one sign up. Okay, sign up. Then this sign up has a button. Now there's something called call to actions, right? You notice on the website the login is just there, is just a text, but the sign up has a button and it is orange, right? So that you can easily differentiate it around. So it is part of marketing strategy that you have to create. This is like a call to action. So as a new customer, you just like in banks, they usually pet you as a new customer because they want you to do business with them. So they also, when you're designing a website, you have to create call to actions that people can see easily. Now once you look at this top part here, this sign up, you can see it easily because it has this background around it. So that's basically what they did here. Okay, so we have this. Now you draw a rectangle. Okay, so we'll draw a rectangle that is going to house that sign up. All right, then we make the edges rounded. So you come to your corner radius. Let's give it 10. No, 10 is too much. We give it 5. All right, then we drag this sign up above it on the layers, right? On the layers. Okay, so I have I think this text, they are too big. All right, I think they are too big, so let's open it up. 20 is too big, so let's try 17. Okay, so I think 17 is almost perfect, but still not perfect, so let's try 15. Yes, 15 is perfect. Okay, so same goes for this login and sign up. Change it to 15 as well. All right, perfect. So everything looks more concise, right? So we have this. Now the next thing we do is we would basically change the color. All right, so change the color to orange. Remember I already have the sample color that I created, so that's why I have it here, right? Then the next thing we do is select this sign up, change it to white, make it white. All right, so we'll make it white. Awesome. So then the next thing we do, we click this. Now you select both of them. You want them that they are centralized. All right, they are centralized to make sure the sign up is like in the middle. So it's more like we're double checking. So you just click on this and click on this, so then just to be sure, right? If you notice nothing moved, but we just want to be sure, like we're just trying to double check that everything is properly aligned. So now you selected both of them, then you now group them. All right, then you name your layers. So always try as much as possible to name your layers, so that when developers or whoever you're giving the file to, they look at your document, they know what you were doing part time, they know what each layer carries, not that they are saying group 9, group 8 and all of that, right? You are naming your layers and it's very easy for people to locate things. Okay, so we have this, we call it sign up button. So sign up button. Now if you notice around here, you notice that I have an underscore, right? It's basically because developers like a situation whereby when they are coding, should be no space in between what they are doing. So if I want to create a space, I have to use an underscore to create a space rather than just putting space directly there, right? So now we have this. Now let's select everything here. Okay, select everything here. We have to make sure they are vertically aligned, right? Okay, so did you see the difference? I made sure they are vertically aligned. Click on it. Now we have it. Now the next thing we do is everything we have here, including, so everything here, including the rectangle that is the background, the sign up, the login, the menu, the logo, everything. Now the next thing we'll do is to group everything. I'll name it navigation bar. So for short it's called nav bar, right? So press Ctrl G, you group everything, then you double click on this group 9 and call it nav bar. All right, so nav bar. Now we have this navigation bar. So now we'll keep designing so that once we are done designing everything here, when we scroll up, you can see that effect playing out. All right, so this first one we're going to do is new feature, right? So first things first is we are going to create a mini rectangle, right? Something small like this. Then we'll make the edges, like the corner radius, rounded. So you just zoom in. Once you zoom in, you will see these circles, right? You can click them and you drag them in. When you drag them in, they become rounded. It happens on both sides, right? So that's basically what I did. So what I did is, let me just do it all over again. You draw a rectangle, right? You zoom in. When you zoom in, you will see this, right? You click on it and you drag. Once you click on one, it affects every other one, right? So you click on it, you drag, then you change the color to orange. But if you notice, the orange is like, it's looking like a bit transparent, right? So all we need to do is, now we have this color, then we'll come to our color picker here, this fill. Can you see this place here, this slider, this second slider, or this 100%? Now is where you can make your colors either 100% like full, or you can make it a little bit transparent, right? So if you click, you can decide to do it manually here by clicking this, right? You notice it becomes more transparent, and while you are dragging this, notice that the figures here are changing, right? So now we're going to click on this 100% and make it 30% orange. All right, 30% orange. So I'll click type 30 and I press enter. So we have this. Let me see if it looks close to it. I think so. I think it's still too much, so let's make it 20%. So you can also change it from here, right? So make it 20%. I think 20% works better, right? So now we need this same rectangle for this inner one. Can you see this white around here? So also need the rectangle for the white one. So all we need to do is press Ctrl D. It will duplicate this rectangle directly on this one. So it's as if you are multiplying the rectangle times 2, right? So it's once you press Ctrl D, you notice there's a rectangle. Now look at your layers as well. This was our first rectangle. Now we have rectangle 7. All right, so that means we have 2 rectangles now, right? So all we need to do is we just change this one to white, right? Because remember, we are trying to achieve this white rectangle here. Change this to white and you scale it down. So you just use your you just click by the side, you drag it in. This one too, you drag it in. All right, then you can decide to drag this one down, but now I want to drag both the top and the bottom together. So all I need to do is hold my alt key, right? Hold my alt key and click and drag. I hold my alt key, click and drag. It will drag both the top and the bottom together. All right, hold my alt key, click and drag. Can you notice it is dragging both the top and the bottom together? All right, so then we have this. Now we just adjust it so that this, can you notice I'm trying to make that the space in between, they look closely together, like they are seamless. It's seamless, right? So we have that. So we just need to increase this a little bit. Now type and say new feature. Okay, so we have new feature and it's orange as well, right? It's orange, so we click this and make it orange, right? The next thing we do is we name this check checkout box office. All right, so we just duplicate this, hold your alt and drag, so we'll make this. So now this new feature, I think the white is a little bit too long, so let's just adjust it a bit, so we have something like this. So we'll name this checkout box office. I hope that's what was written. Yes, checkout box office. Okay, the checkout, there's a space in between. All right, so we'll click this, we just drag it, adjust it properly. Right now, you notice it has an arrow, right? So also need to add an arrow. Okay, so the next thing we do is come to this place here. So you either go to iconify and get an arrow, or you come to your shape tool. We already have arrow here, right? So you click on it and you drag. All right, so you just hold your shift while you're clicking. So the reason is because, let me zoom in. Once I'm dragging, I don't hold my shift, you notice the arrow can be slanty, but when I hold my shift, it is perfectly straight. All right, so you don't need it to be so long, it should just be short like this. Now we change it to orange. All right, now if you notice, the edge is not rounded, so you can make this other edge rounded, because I think theirs is rounded. Yeah, it looks rounded, so we have to change this edge to be rounded just like these other ones. So all you need to do is you come to this place here, see on this other the settings here, right? You scroll down, you see round, so you click on it and it will make it rounded. All right, so we have that. Perfect. Now we highlight all of this and you group it together. Now the reason why we keep grouping is because the more we are creating layers, right? Let me just press Ctrl Z. You notice the layers are becoming too plenty and they might be a little bit scattered, so you just keep grouping things so that they look really neat. Awesome. So I hope you guys are enjoying the training so far, right? So the next thing we do is just copy this, right? We want this text and we'll call it events made easy for creators. So this is going to be like the major text, so we just paste this, right? Select it and align it, text alignment, not normal alignment, text alignment to the middle. Okay, then we'll also change the font. So font size, let's use 80, right, or 100. Okay, so 100 works. Then you align it now to the middle, the entire space. Then we change the font type to let's say extra bold. They also change the color to orange. Okay, so we have this, right? Yeah, perfect. Okay, so this works. Now the next thing we do is we have this little text underneath. Now you notice when I talked about principles of design, you notice the way they do hierarchy. So the major one they want to pass the message, like the major message is events made easy for creators, right? So you have this is like the major message. Then you have a little explanation of what they meant by this, right? So that's basically it. So now we are going to type this. Okay, so it's assuming the previous size, so we reduce this to 20, right? Then we reduce the thickness to medium. Okay, this works, so just adjust it, right? So we have this. Now the next thing we have is these buttons, right? The buttons. Okay, so notice when I hover on it, it gives some kind of glow, right? As if the find your next event is now becoming faint, right? All of those things, we're going to achieve them and make them look really like exactly how this website is. Okay, so we can even fine tune it and make ours better, right? So but now, for now, let us just change this. So we'll create the button, rectangle and text, find your next event. Okay, So we click on we click on the rectangle tool. We click on the rectangle tool, select the rectangle tool, draw a rectangle, right? Then make sure the size we used initially, let's go and check for this button. We have to keep up with the size. All right, notice the size was 5, right? If we're using any size, it should be something closely related to that 5. So let's change it to, let's try out 5, right? So 5 works. So because we are trying to make everything look very, very uniform. All right, so that's why we're using 5, right? So then we just pick this color that we're already using here. So I think it has to be really, really light, right? Yeah, so let's use this color. Okay, so then we'll type find your next event. So find your next event. All right, what color is find your next event? Is also orange, right? Click on the fill, change it to orange, and voila, we have this, right? So then you select both of them and you align them properly. All right, you align them properly. So we have this. Something me just saying we should make it a little bit rounded, more rounded. So give it 7. Okay. I think it looks a little bit better, right? So I think we need to make this text bigger so that people can see it. So let's make it 20. All right. Yep, we made it 20. Now we have this. So now you group this, okay, and name it find events, find underscore events button. All right, so we have this here. Now the next thing you do is you duplicate. You hold your alt, you click and you drag, right? Now the next button, create an event. Okay, so you double click, open this, say create an event, right? So we have this. Now this is going to be white and this is going to be deep orange, right? So we have this, beautiful. Now we select both of them and make sure they are aligned properly, right? Now rename it. Remember we duplicated, so to carry it, you inherit the previous name. So we just name this create event. So just clean only that find, change it to create, right? Create event button. Okay, so we have this. Now all we need to do is just align this to the middle. Okay, so we have this. Now let's see if we're on point. Yes, I think we're on point. Awesome. So the next thing we do is basically to create this image. All right, we mask this image. From the previous class I talked about masking, right? Then we achieve all of this, right? Then we try to scroll and see how we can achieve this static nav bar. All right, or sticky nav bar rather. Okay, so all we just need to do is this. Now like I said, anytime you see a design, don't look at it, anytime you see a design, don't look at it as a very big work, right? Just look at it that it is a very simple thing. All you just need to do is use your eyes to break it down and notice that, okay, this is an image. It was cropped in a it was masked in a shape, right? A rectangular shape, and it has a drop shadow. It has other things to go with it, other elements to go with it, and you just have that. And you say this is a text, this is another image, and you get there. All right. So the next thing we do is to create this major picture, which is the background. Now notice that we are a little bit out of space, so all you need to do is click on the head, like the label, right, of this frame. You click on it and you drag down, right? In the case where you are dragging down and any of the elements inside the frame is dragging along with it, all you need to do is select everything here, you cut it Control X or Command X if you're using a Mac. Control X, then you drag. When you're done dragging, you drag the frame, right? Once you're done dragging, you click on it again, then you paste. Everything goes back there, right? But for me now, notice nothing is off in my own, so we'll just continue. So that's it. So the next thing we do is create a rectangle, a very big rectangle, right? We have this, so we just adjust this. Now we make the edges, let's try 15. 15 is still not enough, call it 20. Okay, 20 is great. All right, so then next thing we do is to drag in an image. So I don't have exactly this image, so I can just basically look for a search phrase, say picnic events, right? I think you would see something. All right, so pick websites where you can go and get pictures, right? You can go to freepik.com, right? www.freepik.com. This is a website. Now you can see you can see free images that doesn't have copyright issues. You can go to Unsplash, right? You can go to Unsplash, you search for images on Unsplash, and you will see free images. So you can search and just say picnic party, then you wait for it and just pretty much look for the image that works best for you. It must not be exactly that image, right? We're just trying to replicate it, so it's not a must you must get exactly this picture, right? But I've downloaded a picture that looks really similar to it, so all I need to do is go back to this, right? Go back to this place here. So would look for the image. I downloaded it a while back, so I might not know where it is currently, right? Just give me a minute to find it. Just give me a minute. Okay, so this is the picture, right? So I'll press Ctrl C, right? Go back to this place here. Now when you want to paste, click on an empty area. Don't click on the picture itself. I'm sorry, the shape itself. If you do that, it will replace the rectangle, and you don't want that, right? You want to mask it yourself inside the shape. Reason is because if you placed it directly into the shape, if you want to make other changes, you would not be able to make those changes anymore, right? So you click on an empty space here, make sure nothing on this layer is selected. Then now you can paste it. Press Ctrl V and you paste. You notice it's usually bigger than the frame, right? So you now scale it down. Hold your Alt and Shift at the same time. So if you hold Shift, this is what will happen. You just be scaling down from one side, right? But if you hold Shift and Alt, you'll be scaling from here and here, right? So from both sides, right? So you hold your Alt and Shift and you drag. So the Alt key is on your keyboard, you see Alt. Then if you're using a Mac, it's called Option key, right? So you have that. So now the next thing you do is notice it is not inside the frame, right? Can you see this is our frame desktop, but it's above it, so that means it's not inside the frame, right? So you need to make it inside the frame, right? So all you need to do is you click on it on the layer here, you drag it below desktop 1. So now it's now inside the frame. So all you need to do now is select both of them, right? The shape and the picture. Then you click on this use as mask, right? So now you have this. Now all you need to do is open the image, okay? You scale it properly so that it covers everywhere. Now you have it a perfect shape, right? So there you have it. So I think theirs is a bit more rounded, so we'll make the corner radius to 30. We'll change it to 30. Okay, so we have this. Now the next thing we do is basically, yeah, so this is it. So now we need to check if our sticky navbar, how to create the sticky navbar. So now go back to your sticky navbar, make sure they are all you've created everything and it looks perfect. Right now, remember, on the sticky navbar we have a rectangle, right, which is going to be the background. Right, we have this rectangle. Let me drag it out so you can see. We have this rectangle, right, which is the background. Okay, then we have the logo, we have the menu, we have the login and sign up. All right, so now this group called navbar, right, go to your prototype on the right hand side of your screen, prototype, right, click on scroll with parents. You see a drop down here, select it and change it to fixed. Right, change it to fixed. Once you change to fixed, you notice that from the bottom it has moved up and it's on another group called fixed, while the rest are under a group called scrolls. Right, so that's basically how you do it. So let me do it one more time. All right, so I said click on, make sure you everything at the top nav here is grouped. Okay, so now you select it. Then the next thing you do is you come to prototype. All right, you come to prototype, then you click on prototype, and the next thing you do, you notice that it has this scroll with parents. Then you click on scroll with parents, change it to fixed. All right, when you change it to fixed, you notice it has moved up and it has it's on its own category under fixed, then the rest are under scrolls. All right, so now let's see if what we did was correct. So you click on the head here, right, the label, then you go to this play icon. Can you see this play icon here? Play icon, you click on it and you open up. That is to put Figma on presentation mode, to change it to presentation mode. So we have this here. Sorry, let me check my network, because you need network to be able to do this. Just give me a second. Okay, just give me a second, trying to sort out my internet. Okay, so let me just quickly refresh and see if it's connected. Awesome, so it's loading, right? So just wait for it to load and see what we did, if the is going to be stuck, right? So but before, I think what we need to do is, no, let's close this first. What we need to do is, before it was on sticky navbar, right, now it's just normal. Let us see so that you can see the difference. All right, so click on this, click on the play icon, right? Let's see, without adding sticky navbar or anything, just normal design, so you can see the difference and you understand what I mean, right? So now without anything, you notice this is just the actual website looking very beautiful, right? All we need to do is you scroll up, you notice the navbar has gone together with the page, right? And the navbar is supposed to be stuck up here, right, just the way it is here. You can see it is stuck there, right? So all we need to do is, we now click on the navbar, come to your prototype, change it from scroll with parents, change it to fixed. Immediately you do this, you have it here, right? So when you scroll now, can you see? Perfect. So it is stuck, right? And we can basically do what we like, right? So the navigation bar is easily accessible to everyone, right? So you can still scroll, be at the end of the page and you click something here. Okay, so that's what sticky navbar can do. All right, so it makes your work much more better. All right, so then the next thing we do is So let's quickly head back, achieve all of these little designs around it. Then we'll also make this chat box sticky. Then would call it a day. Then the next video will talk about how to hover. All right, so I'm trying to break the videos in bits so that it's not too long. Perfect. Okay, so then next thing is let's achieve all of this. Now notice that it is a rectangle, but it has another rectangle that is like the border, and that one it's a bit transparent. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is get this. So say Ayodeji Thompson. So create a rectangle, click on your rectangle, shortcut for it is R, right? Have this, change it to white, change this to white. Now we'll make our edges rounded, zoom it, make the edges rounded, so this works, right? So I think we should still do this. Now I want to duplicate, right? We're duplicating to have this other one, this outer one, right? You don't want to draw another rectangle, so just press Ctrl D to duplicate, and you have it. So now you hold your shift and your alt to scale inwards, right? So I'm scaling inwards on the same spot. Okay, scaling inwards. Now you have this. Now this outer one, let's make it less transparent. We're making it less transparent, so let's say 50. You input the value 50. Remember I said with this part here you can reduce the brightness or the transparency. Also you can still come here, but I think this part is faster, right? Just input the value and you have it there. Okay, so the next thing we do, I think this needs to be longer in some way, right? So we can just have it like this. The next thing we'll say Ayodeji Thompson. So say Thompson, right? Select it. It needs to be aligned, text align, not the normal alignment, text alignment to the middle. All right, then we'll also reduce the size from 20 to 15, right? Reduce it, make sure it's properly aligned. You can see when I'm dragging, you have these guides, these ruler guides. So now we change this to orange. Okay, I think we still make it bold, semi bold, right? So it looks like this. Okay, so then the next thing we do is to create this guy here, this circle. Okay, so we just draw a circle. Letter O is a shortcut to get a circle, so you draw a circle here. We draw this circle. Now the circle is supposed to have an outline. If you look at it properly, you notice it has an outline here, right? So you create an outline. So this fill, you see this stroke here, you change the stroke, you click on the stroke and you see an outline, right? Then you increase the thickness. So let's try 3. All right, 3 works. Now you change the color of that stroke to white for the outline. All right, then the next thing we do is we go and get a picture. Okay, so let's look for any picture we can make use of, right? You can make use of any picture you feel like using. So let's say we're using this picture, right? Ctrl C, come to this place, we paste it, and let's reduce it, right? Now you notice I made a mistake. Immediately I paste, I mistakenly clicked this background picture, so it is masked inside. It is now masked inside this rectangle, which we don't want, right? So what you can do is you drag it out, right? Drag it. This is the picture. You drag it out of this masked group, right? You drag it out, so it needs to be on top of the circle, right? Then also you need to scale it down because it needs to be very small. Scale it down like this. Then you select the circle, this is the ellipse tool, then you mask it, use as mask. You click on this. Now we have this. Okay, so we have this. Now you can resize it a little bit, just resize it a little bit. So you have this, right? So you click on the ellipse tool. It's supposed to have a stroke, but because we masked it, now the stroke is missing. All right, so what you can do is, we basically supposed to create another circle behind it. Remember the previous fashion website, the way we did for images, the way that lady in green, we had to duplicate 2 circles, right? So that's the same thing we are supposed to do. Okay, so all I need to do now is create another circle. I'm clicking on this circle that is marked now. I'm looking at the size, 43 by 43, right? So since it's 43 by 43, all we need to do is draw another circle that's going to be 43 by 43. All right, so we click on this and we create a circle and make it 43 by 43. Now this one is 33 by 33. We just input 43. Remember, our chains are locked, so if I effect a change on this width, to affect the height as well, right? So we just put it 43, right? Then now we take it below the mask group, because we want it to be at the back, right? So it's going to be at the back. Perfect. You notice our guides are making everything look aligned very well. So the next thing we'll do is add stroke, right? Change it to white. Okay, so now then we also change this inside to outside, right? Now you might not even need to add a stroke, right? Reason is because this is another entire new shape. So what you can do is you can basically scale it out, make it bigger. Hold your shift and alt, you make it bigger, right? So you can do this and you change the fill to white. So what I did basically was, I didn't need to add a stroke because this is another rectangle. Sorry, this is another circle or an ellipse tool, so I can basically use it as an outline. So I just need to make it a little bit bigger than the other one, right? So that's basically what we did. Awesome. So the next thing we do is make sure we group most of these things, right? So I think the space in between this is a little bit too big, so we can scale it so that it opens up a little bit. So we have this. Then the next thing we do is select all of this. Make sure you always group your work. All right, so let's go to this place now. Let's see. I think I think this there's still another one here, so we need to create this. And I think this background is together with this, right? So we just extend that background and we create another rectangle and we'll have this. Okay, so before grouping it now, we just need to extend this one a bit. Then because we already have this, we just duplicate it, hold our alt and drag. If you're using a Mac, option key, right? We hold the alt, you drag, right? Sorry, my mouse has haptics and it's misbehaving. Okay, so we have this, right? So then we just adjust it a little bit. Then the next thing we do is change this to your earnings and put 70,000. Okay, so click on our text tool, say your earnings, right? Then we reduce the size to 12. Okay, so reduce the size to 12. Then we just duplicate it and we increase this one, type 70,000. So now if on your Windows there is the Naira sign, you can basically, so just Google how to bring out Naira signs on Windows, right? I've forgotten exactly the I think it's spacebar and plus or something. I think alt and full stop or something, but I can't remember how to get it on the Windows. But on the Mac, all I need to do is press my Control, Command, and spacebar. This panel will come up, and I just double click on the Naira sign, and you have the Naira sign, right? Hold your Control, Command, and spacebar, and you have it, right? So just type 70. We have 70,000. So then we increase it to 20. All right, so we have this. Then change the fill to orange and increase the thickness. Okay, so now I think we still have to make this smaller, so let's make this 10. Great, 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 great. Okay, I think this is a little bit too small, so let's change this to 25. Then we'll make this 15. Oh no, 13. Okay, awesome. So let's just go back and see if we're on point. Yes, I guess we're on point. So we have this. Now please kindly select everything here. So I think we started from here to this part here, so just group everything. So you group it, you notice we have it now, everything in one group. Right now, the reason why you are seeing this one very well is because theirs has a white background already, so you will not see it very well. Okay, so all we can do is, I think the padding in between is a little bit too much, right? So we just need to raise it up a little bit and adjust. So we just raise this, then we'll also take this up, take it upward, right? I still think this one as well, the padding is too much. So the padding means the space in between that margin, right? So that's what it is. So we just adjust this a little bit, right? So then we have it here. Now we're good to go. Okay, so the next thing we do is we have this, right? So this is like a screenshot where you can decide to design it, right? So let's first of all design this one that is simpler, right? So we have this. Okay, so also this website is also like an assignment. You have to replicate everything on the website. All right, everything to the bottom, right? You have to replicate everything there. So now we would replicate this. Just draw a rectangle and we are done. Okay, so I'm trying as much as possible to make this video really short, right? So we have to create this. Draw a rectangle, right? Draw a rectangle, make it rounded, so make it let's say 15. Then make it white, right? Then notice it is blending with this outer background, right? So I think they use the drop shadow, right? Yes, a drop shadow was used. So you click on it and make sure come to your effects panel here. Oh, sorry, your properties panel. You see effects. You click on it, then you notice it has shown you effects, right? So the next thing you do is you basically increase this x and y. So you change this y to let's say 15. All right, then you change this one to 15, right? Then you also blur it, to, let's say let's try 10. Okay, let's try 20. Okay, I think 20 works. The next thing, we have to reduce the opacity, like make it a bit more transparent. So we'll make this 15. Perfect, so this works for us. So the next thing we do is to get, so it has another rectangle that says 40%, right? So you just draw that rectangle, right? Another rectangle, and make it rounded, right? Rounded, and we increase. So we just use the transparency we've been using already. We just use that, right? Now make sure the padding in this part and this part, they are all equal. Okay, make sure the padding in between, they are equal. Okay, awesome, right? So we have this. So now we click on this, make it 40, right? Just type 40%, and we have this. So then we change the color to orange. Perfect. All right, so we have this. Then we say total check-ins, type total check-ins here, say total check-ins, right? So then we reduce the size of this total check-ins to 17, right? So to make sure everything is, so 400 out of 1000, So let's see. I think this 400 is very black, then this is a bit of gray, right? So type 400 stroke 1000. So the 1000 has a comma, right? So now this is dark, then this one has to be gray. We make it gray like this. Then we make the text smaller, so try 15, and make sure it's properly aligned. So then you now draw this progress bar, right? To draw this progress bar, all you need to do is click on your line 2, L for short. Click on this line 2, then you drag, you click and you drag, right? So you click and you drag. We have this. Now you increase the thickness to, let's say 5. No, let's try 3. We have it on 3. Then you click on this, right? You change the edge to be rounded. Okay, so we have this. Now all we need to do is what's the background. So it's the background is gray. The first one is gray. Okay, so it's long, like it gets long to this point. Okay, so the first background is gray, so we'll make use of the gray color, right? Make use of the gray color somewhere around here, right? Press Ctrl C and press Ctrl D, right? It's the same thing. If you press Ctrl C and Ctrl V, it's still the same thing, but Ctrl D is just one key to duplicate, right? So we have this. Now we have 2 lines, right? I use Ctrl D to duplicate it. So what I need to do is you click on this one, hold your shift, and you drag it backwards. Okay, hold your shift. If you don't hold your shift, you might start having something like this. So you hold your shift to keep everything in line. All right, so you have this, then you change the color to orange so you can see the difference, right? Nice. So we have this. So I think we can make our lines thicker a little bit. So we change this to 5, right? 5 works. Okay, so we have this. I think we should drag it out a little bit. 400, so somewhere here. Great. So we have this now. All we need to do is highlight everything here, select all of them, highlight them, right? Group. We need to group them, so all these things are in groups. So we have this here. Okay, awesome. So let's just quickly create this chatbot that is static as well. Notice the chatbot doesn't move too, right? So we just create it and we repeat the same process we did for fixed, right? So we would create the chat bot icon. So first things first is located somewhere around here. You create your circle, click letter O for short, right? That is the shortcut. Select the color orange, right? So now you've selected the color orange. All you need to do is create and get an icon, a message icon like the way it is here. So we'll right click and go to our plugins. On our plugins we have Iconify. All right, you can also get it from this top part here. So then we type message. So wait for it to show. If your network is a bit too slow, you might not get it. Sorry, my network is having issues. So let me search again and see if okay, yeah, we have it now, right? So now let's look for an icon that looks closely like it. Let's go back to look at it. Okay, so let's look for an icon that looks just like it. I think, yeah, we can make use of this one, right? We can make use of this one. So just click and you drag it out of this page here, right? So we have this. Now the next thing we do is it entered this place. We don't want it to be there. drag it back. So now you can delete the frame. You can decide to delete the frame. We just need only the vector. Reason why you need to delete the frame is sometimes you can make a mistake by you can make a mistake to come and change the fill here, and it's not going to affect the icon itself. You have to go to selection, but once you open it and you drag the vector out of the frame, you can change it directly from the fill, right? So we change this to white, then we scale this a little bit bigger, right? Then if you notice, it's a little bit tilted somewhere, right? So we tilt it a little bit, just you can hover around and tilt it a little. Okay, so then we have this. Now let's group it. I'll name it chatbot. Okay, so say chatbot, right? So we have this here. Now let's go to our page. Let's see how it is being placed. Okay, now on this part here is a little bit up, right? We don't want it upwards, right? So you see the way it's down there, right? So let's take it down a little bit, right? Just hold your direction key to move it downwards a little bit. So now let's look at it. It's still a little bit upward, so we just hold our direction key and it will take it down for us, right? Notice, okay, I think it's perfect now, right? So all we need to do is we basically have to now make it sticky. So the way it is now, it will scroll together with everything. We don't want it to scroll together with everything, right? So now this chatbot, you can decide to drag it inside this layer, inside this group. Can you see under fixed, the nav bar is there, so you can decide to drag it there. If you drag it there, you go to this place now and you prototype. Can you see it is already stuck, right? Or you can decide to go through the process with how we got the nav bar again. You group everything, come to prototype, you change it from scroll with parents, you change it to fixed. If you do it, it will still take it to this place, right? So that's basically it. So now then you have this, all right? So perfect. You see how it is scrolling and it's just static there, so you can click it and basically do what you want to do. All right, awesome. So basically we understand how the navigation bar, the sticky nav bar works, right? And how we can basically replicate a very clean design and make everything look really, really nice. All right, so in the next class we'll talk about this parts where we can hover. When you hover on things, how they would look like, right? And the next class is coming really, really close, right? Thank you so much for going through the class, and seeing you in the next video. Peace.